And as you know, we've already created the function that we want to export and the function we want to add to the package. So what we are going to do in this video first is to create a server.js file. So I'll go ahead and create a new file called server.js file. Your own entry point could be app.js or index.js, but mine is server.js. Right now we have the server.js file. Before we continue, we can create a git ignore file. Maybe we might decide to add a dependency to style the readme.md file. So we don't want to push or track the node modules folder that will be created. So from the command line, let's go ahead and create a new git ignore file. So I'll clear this. I'll create a new file called .git ignore. So touch.git ignore. So we're going to use this to add all the files and folders we don't want tracked. So the file has been created. If I come here and refresh the folder, I should see the .git ignore file. So right inside here, okay, we can leave it blank for now. So when we add, peradventure we add any module, then we're going to include the underscore modules file so that it don't get tracked and added to the repository. Now we have the server.js file, we have the package.json. What we want to do is just copy and paste the function we already created. It's a very simple function, and this module is going to be a very simple module that does one thing, and that is the only thing that it's going to do. There are some other modules out there, and also there's a module we are going to create that will have about 4, maybe 5 to 6 functions that we can use. But for this particular module, we just have one function, and the module is going to do one thing, which is to generate alphanumeric characters. The first thing we need to do is to add the module.export as we saw earlier. So we add the module.export and we are exporting it as an object. Now what I will do is I will just copy and paste the function instead of just writing from the beginning because we already have it. So what I will do is I will just paste the function here. Right here you can see I have the random char function. What I would suggest is you can give yours a different name. So that's going to be different from mine. Even if the package name is going to be different, the function name should be different as well. But it doesn't really matter. You can give yours random characters or random string or whatever function name. So mine is random char. I'm going to leave it this way. As you know what this function does. It's loops through this string, and at each loop or at each iteration, it returns or selects one random character and adds it to this variable. Then at the end, we are returning the variable. So this is just what we are going to have inside the server.js. We are not requiring any third-party module or any inbuilt module. Maybe in a later module we're going to create, we're going to see how we can make use of inbuilt modules like the HTTP module inbuilt in Node.js. For this case, we're just exporting the JavaScript function. Now that we have this, we have the server.js file. What we need to do is, and as we know from the previous video, this is working as we want. So what we're going to do is we are just going to push this to GitHub. So we save this project. Now we have the function. We're not going to test anything here. So we go to our project. If I clear this and I type git status, we're going to see that the files we just created are untracked. That is the git ignore file and also the server.js file. So wait for this to clear this terminal. Now if we run git status, you will see that the git ignore file, the package.json file, and the server.json file are not tracked. So to track all of these files, we use git add then that dot to track all of the files. We hit enter. Then if we add git status again, you'll see that color has been changed from red to green. This shows that the files have been or are being tracked. Now the next thing we want to do is we want to commit the changes we've already made so that we can have this server.js file in our Git repository. Before we do that, if we go through this one more time, we are using the module.export object, exporting this function as an object, and the function name I gave mine here is random char. With the function takes in an argument, and we are passing a string, alphanumeric string. Then we are using a while loop to loop through. You can decide to use a for loop. They will all work the same. So here I'm using a while loop to loop through, and every character that has been selected here randomly will be added to this string. Then here we are returning the string. We are not doing anything fancy here. We've created this function in the previous video and seen how the function works. So we are just adding it here. Now the next thing I'll do is to commit the changes. So I'll do git commit -m. Then I will just write a message that says added the random string function to the server.js file. So this is the message I'm adding. Then the next thing is to, after committing, the next thing is to push to the repository. So I'm going to do git push. Git push. Now here it's asking, I think I've not added the username and password, so it's going to require me to always add my username and password. So I'm going to add the username, then add my password. So it's going to push the code to the repository. It has been pushed. So if we go to the GitHub page and we refresh this page, my browser is not responding well, so wait for it to refresh the page. So right now you can see that the code has been pushed to the repository. So we have the git ignore file, we have the package.json, we have the server.json or the server.js file. Here we are, as I said previously, we are not adding any tests to this project for now. We'll just leave it the way it is. So if I go back, so we can see the server.js file. Yeah, this is just the simple function that we have inside the server.js file. So we've been able to add the code to the server.js file and we've pushed it to the repository. So in the next video, what I'm going to do, or what we are going to do, is we're going to work with the readme.md so we can add some tests to the readme.md file and also create an account on the npm.js site, so you can have an account. The registration on npm.js file is as easy as when you created an account on GitHub as well. So we're going to do that in the next video.